Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Mutmainna with name 20400122071. And today I will make a video about the explanation of MITAS for the subject of research in ELT 2024. In the first section, I will explain what is the definition of research. For the answer, number one, yes, I agree with both definition. Research is conducted to generate new findings based on observation that go through a well-planned process. Research is not just curiosity, it involves a well-defined plan to ensure that data collection and analysis are carried out rigorously. Number two, yes, I agree with the definition of research. The definition accurately describes the essence of research as a structured and systematic scientific process for generating new knowledge. Overall, the definition of research provides a comprehensive picture of what research is and how it is conducted. Number three, in my understanding, research is endeavor to uncover new knowledge. This endeavor involves the systematic collection of data, the critical analysis of that data, and the drawing of conclusions based on the accurate analysis. Research aims to provide us with a broad understanding or knowledge of a subject, to solve a problem, and to develop new theories. Educational research is specialist branch of research that focuses on the fields of education. It refers to scientific activities that focus on investigating phenomena, processes, and practices in educational settings. The aim of educational research is to improve educational outcomes. It is conducted systematically using a variety of research methods to collect data and evidence to inform education policy, theory, and practice. Ultimately, educational research aims to enhance our understanding of how people learn and teach most effectively, thereby leading to the development of quality education. Educational research is crucial to ensure that our education system is effective and that all students have the opportunity to succeed. English language research is particularly important as English has become a global language used in communication across fields such as education, healthcare, and business. Therefore, it can be said that educational research plays a vital role in all branches of knowledge. Research in this field can help us develop better teaching methods to help students learn English effectively. In my opinion, research as a graduation requirement for universities is crucial. This requirement ensures that graduates possess the following skills. So, for the first skills is develop critical thinking skills. Engaging in research helps students learn how to ask questions, evaluate information, and draw logical conclusions. The second is problem solving. Research trains students to identify problems, develop solutions, and evaluate the effectiveness of those solutions effective. And the third is effective communication. Research requires students to communicate their findings both in writing and orally. Among the 10 research areas proposed by Jim H. 2023, I'm interested in conducting research on special education and inclusive education because I believe that by conducting this research, I can explore ways to, first, increase understanding of learner diversity. By researching the needs and characteristics of learners with special needs and learners in general, we can develop more effective and appropriate learning strategies for all individuals. Second, develop better educational practices. Research can help us develop more effective intervention and educational programs for learners with special needs and can also help improve the quality of education for all learners with a focus on inclusion and equality. Third, make educational practices more equitable. Research can also help us develop more equitable and inclusive policies and practices that ensures that all learners have equal opportunities to learn and grow. General, Ryman and Kramer 2004 suggest that the main purpose of research is to discover hidden and undiscovered truths. These objectives have been outlined as follows. For the first is to be introduced to the process to deepen knowledge or to achieve new insights. Studies with this objective are known as exploratory or formative research. The second, to initiate testing the hypothesis of a causal relationship between two or more variables. These studies are referred to as hypothesis testing research. In the context of language education research, Fibiani F. and Prativi T.L. 2023 conducted this kind of research with the title Language Test Anxiety Between Gender and Proficiency Among Foreign Language Learners. Third, to portray the characteristic of a particular individual or group situation as clearly as possible. Research with this type of object is known as descriptive research. This type of research was conducted by DIA in 2019 with a study entitled A Descriptive Study on the Student's Attitude Toward English in a Multilingual Classroom. And the third is to evaluate the frequency with which something occurs or when it occurs in relation to other things. This type of study is known as a diagnostic research study. Next, we move to the next section, research design and educational research design. Research design is an essential foundation for any research study. By selecting the appropriate research type, data collection method, and data analysis techniques, researchers can gather valid, reliable, and useful information to answer research questions and contribute to knowledge. Yes, I'm agree by saying that the research design function as management. What is meant by management? Management is process that researchers carry out in organizing activities in the research being carried out which consists of three aspects, including formulating research inputs, carrying out the research process, and presenting research outputs. In particular, the most appropriate term used in the management of research, namely by bringing together activities containing several components, strategies, and methods for collecting data and then analyzing them to determine the results of data analysis and report the data as research findings. Marcus HR, Demetra D, and Fastinger D. 2010 describe the stages of formulating research design as a systematic process that must be carried out simultaneously with the selection of approaches to ensure that the research to be carried out is valid, reliable, and provide meaningful results. The various stages can be presented as follows, like for the first things we have to do is selecting research topics. The first step a researcher needs to take in designing a research study is to decide what to research. This is then called the research topic. Researchers generally choose topics that are knowledgeable about and have studied in various manners. Their decision to choose a topic is highly influenced by several things. The second is carefully consider the research approach and objectives. This can be done by determining the types of research approach used, formulating research questions, research objectives, and identifying the theoretical framework and methodology of research. The third is pick the type of research design. Choose the appropriate research design. For example, selecting an experimental correlational survey case study or ethnographic type of research. The decision of the type of research is usually made based on the purpose of the research as well as research question. And the fourth is specify the population. Specify the population, sample, and sampling techniques that will be involved and used in research. Determine the overall target population of the study, the number of samples, and also determine the type of sampling techniques used, such as random sampling techniques, stratified random sampling techniques, incidental sampling techniques, purposive sampling techniques, and or relevant sampling techniques. The fifth is pick the data collection method to be used in the research. Define the data collection method to be used according to the research question and objectives. Whether to use the survey method, interview method, observation method, or experimental method. After determining the data collection method, the instruments or tools which be used to gather the data should also be promptly determined before starting to collect the required data. Make a plan for the procedure that will be carried out during data collection in the research. In this case, the researcher needs to establish a specific procedure or set of action aimed at the data collection plan in the study. Personnel involved and ensure ethical consideration. The sixth, select the research data processing and analyzing techniques. Choose data processing and analysis techniques as relevant to the research objectives, such as statistical analysis, content analysis, or discourse analysis, and plan how to interpret the results of the data processing and analysis. Seventh, or lastly, determine the research time frame. It is highly advisable that each researcher is able to determine and set a time frame for the research project being conducted. For example, like when the data will be collected, analyzed, and reported. The process of research design is an important step in carrying out the research. By strictly following the research design procedures, researchers can ensure that their research is well planned, which will inevitably result in an impactful research. Impactful research usually creates minimum bias in the data and increases confidence in the accuracy of the data collected, such as data is what our researchers hope for. Furthermore, the implementation of the both stages in the research process will provide us with the recognition that a good research must have at least 6 important elements in its research design, namely research topics. So the first is research topics. A research topic is a subject or a matter that a researcher is interested in when carrying out research. A well-defined research topic is the jumping off point of a fruitful research project. And the second is research approach. Research approach simply refers to the general techniques and method that researchers use when carrying out research. It is a systematic and methodological way of approaching a research problem and discovering its solution. And the third is research method. A research method is a set of strategies, process, or techniques used in gathering data or evidence to be analyzed in order to reveal new information or create better comprehension of a topic. The fourth is research participants. Persons who are participating in this research project, either directly or indirectly through a representative, and who have provide informed consent. Research instrument for data collection. Research instrument refers to tools used for collecting, measuring, and analyzing data related to the interests of the research being conducted. Next is research data analysis. Data analysis is the process of systematically applying statistical and or logical techniques to explain and illustrate, condense, and recapitulate and evaluate data. And in this first section, I will explain about educational research approach. Research approach is a comprehensive framework used by researchers to answer research questions and as a guide to achieve a research goal. This approach is very helpful for researchers in viewing the research world, formulating questions, collecting and analyzing data, and interpreting the results of data in a study. Each researcher may use a different approach. The selection the selection of different research approaches is usually influenced by three main factors, namely predetermined research aims and objective, the ontological orientation or knowledge of something of a researcher, and the epistemological orientation or theory of knowledge of a researcher. These three things shape researchers' view of a reality and the relationship between the reality and knowledge as well as the theory that explains the reality. For this reason, every researcher needs to clearly understanding the research approach used in his or her research because choosing a research approach is like choosing the key to be used to open a lock. If the key is chosen and used correctly, the lock will be opened easily. The same applies to choosing a research approach. If a researcher manages to choose the right research approach, then the research conducted will definitely be definitely be carried out effectively, which can lead to a research with valid and relevant research. A philosophical worldview is a system of thought that underlines a person's beliefs and convictions. Every researcher should have a philosophical worldview so that in the research process they can produce knowledge that can advance our understanding of the world. With a strong philosophical worldview, the research they conduct will have a clearer directions and outcome. Yes, I agree with the statement that philosophical worldview contributes to the existence of current research approaches because philosophical worldview plays an important role in shaping current research approaches. Basic assumptions, research questions, methodologies, and interpretation of research results are all influenced by researchers' worldviews. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. That's all from me for the explanation of this subject. Thank you for watching these videos. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.